But Debbie, they're rushing through the legislation to give compensation to people affected by the infected blood scandal. Tell us more about blood.
Yes, well, good afternoon, everyone. And, blood is essential to life, fact. And in light of the infected blood scandal, which has taken 40 years to get to this point, I might add, let's look at blood, because is history repeating itself again? Because I have a feeling it might be. So just before I start off, I just want people to know that the average adult will carry just over a gallon of blood, okay? And you have to be 17 to 65 years old to give blood. So are you able to give blood in the UK? Well, actually, when it comes to the COVID injection, you might want to take note, because according to the NHS Blood and Transplant Service, if you have had a coronavirus vaccine, please wait. Now, please remember this, everybody, 48 hours after having the vaccine before giving blood. So just note that, 48 hours. Now, I found an article in the Eye which says that the NHS Blood Service is amongst the world's safest, but of course infection risk will never be zero. Now, this was an article written by Paul Gallagher. Now, I wonder where he got that from. Well, as you saw on Wednesday, Mike showed Dame June Rain ensuring the public that the blood is safe in the UK. Maybe carries a little risk, but it's safe. So let's go and have a look at some proof, shall we, Dame June Rain? Because at the MHRA board meeting, of which, can I just say to everybody listening, please join us for extra, because I have so much more to say about the MHRA board meeting. But clearly, during the MHRA board meeting, blood was declared to be safe. So let's go and have a look at AHA journals, Circulation, which actually says here that circulating spike protein detected in post-COVID-19 mRNA vaccine myocarditis, free spike antigen was found in the blood of adolescents and young adults who developed post-mRNA vaccine myocarditis. So we know that free spike antigen is in the blood. So if we go further and look at the British Journal of Haematology, there's a paper, very interesting paper actually, called Refusing Blood Transfusions from COVID-19 Vaccinated Donors. Are we repeating history? So when I looked further on in the paper, and this is where it gets very interesting, because it talks about deferral times. That's how long it should be after you've had an injection to how long you should give blood. Now, according to the National Library of Medicine, there is no standard deferral time. However, if you just go back to that slide very quickly, you'll see that the WHO actually are recommending 28 days after having COVID vaccination, because the mRNA and the adenovirus, AstraZeneca, would all be classified as indeterminate. So that's 28 days. There is no evidence, I have to say. That's what the blood service have to say. However, if we go to the next paper, we can see that vaccine mRNA can be detected in blood at 15 days post-vaccination. It says the biodistribution and pharmacokinetics of the mRNA containing lipid nanoparticles in these vaccines are unknown in humans, and we know that they are in the blood 15 days post-vaccination. So I rest my case. Currently, blood is not being screened for mRNA and spike protein. No one knows the effects at all. Do you trust the blood that you or your family may be receiving? Now, while we're on to the MHRA, very, very quickly, they announced at the board meeting a consultation on improved safety for high-risk in vitro diagnostic devices. These are devices that can examine samples taken from the human body to diagnose and monitor health conditions. And you might see in red there, I've written to identify blood type before transfusions or tests which identify life-threatening diseases. And the next slide is just the consultation. Please go and look at it because the consultation has now officially opened, but there's much more to say and a lot more expose to do of the MHRA board meeting coming up in Extra.
Yes. Okay. So basically, we've got a situation where the MHRA is suggesting 48 hours, and all the advice from the other official bodies, never mind what we might think, the other official bodies saying actually the timescale needs to be much longer than that.
Yeah, and I can also say there, Mike, too, that nobody is asked at the point of transfusion. And Cheryl Granger wanted me to make this point in particular. This is lipid nanoparticles as well as mRNA. And this gets distributed via the blood to all of your organs, testes, reproductive organs. And nobody is asked at the time of donation, have they received the COVID vaccine or not? How many they've received, boosters. No one's asked anything. So there are no guarantees.
Okay, Debbie, thank you very much. Okay, let's move on.